I was probably around 10 years old when this happened. My dad and I were just driving down a quiet road one afternoon in Columbus, Ohio. Out of nowhere, I spotted this huge plane flying super low, right over the trees and houses. It looked old school, like something from an old war movie, maybe even a military plane. We lived pretty close to an Air Force base, so that part made sense at first. I was totally hooked, I started jumping in my seat, yelling, "Dad, look at that plane." He kept driving but would sneak peeks out the window, smiling at how excited I was. Then things got weird fast. After a minute or two, the plane started swerving hard, like the pilot was fighting to stay in the air. It dipped and twisted, looking totally out of control. Before we knew it, it nosedived straight into a big patch of trees off to the side of the road. Boom, it was gone, swallowed up by the branches. My dad slammed on the brakes and yanked the truck over to the shoulder. We both froze, staring out the window. But nothing. No explosion. No smoke billowing up. No fire crackling through the woods. The trees didn't even shake or rustle like something huge had crashed into them. It was dead silent, like the whole world just paused. We sat there for what felt like forever, waiting for the plane to pull up or for some kind of wreckage to show. But no. Zip. I turned to my dad and whispered, "What just happened?" He didn't say a word, just stared, his face pale. Finally, after a few minutes, he shook his head and started driving again. We looped back around the area, driving slow and scanning every inch of those trees. We must have circled for a good hour, hearts pounding, hoping to spot a wing or a tail or anything. But there was nothing. Not a scratch on the bark, not a broken branch. It was like the plane had never been there. We finally headed back to my grandma's house for dinner. Over our plates, we spilled the whole story to her. She just gave us this look like, "You boys are seeing things." We couldn't wait for the evening news, flipping on the TV the second it started. Nothing. Zilch. The next morning, we grabbed the newspaper. Still nothing. This was back before everyone had the internet, so that's all we had, no Google to double check. Just radio silence. To this day, my dad and I still talk about it every now and then. The one thing that bugs us, we can't remember if the plane even made any noise while it was flying. Was the radio blasting? Windows up? We're not sure. But the crash? Crystal clear, zero sound. It was only about half a mile away. If it had really hit, we'd have heard the roar, the crunch, something. Instead, it was like the plane just vanished into thin air. This is the only freaky thing like that that's ever happened to me. I know it's a wild story, and sharing it online feels kinda nuts. But knowing my dad saw the exact same thing, that's the only thing that keeps me from thinking I dreamed the whole deal. Has anyone else out there had something like this? A glitch in reality that just doesn't add up? I was about 12 years old when this happened, back in my grandparents' village. We had a big old ox that's like a strong, gentle bull used for pulling plows, and a herd of cows. Usually, the ox's son handled herding them to graze, but since my dad was grown up and off working, it fell to me. No big deal. The cows pretty much knew the routine. In the evenings, I'd walk around the village with the ox lumbering behind me, grunting to call the herd. Folks would open their gates, and out came the cows, following us like it was no sweat. I'd ride the ox up to a clearing on the mountain for grazing, then later down to the river for a drink. It was easy peasy. The animals knew the way. Our ox was a real gentle giant. I'd just hold a thin rope tied to his horns. If a cow wandered off, I'd call her name or give her a light poke with my herding stick to nudge her back. Grandpa always said, if you spot a wolf, which is rare, or a wild boar or a fox, stay put on the ox. No beast dares mess with an ox and his herd. But there was this one dark corner of the forest that gave everyone the creeps. It was dead quiet, super slippery, and dangerous. Even the bravest hunters steered clear. Folks said deer and boars wouldn't go in there either. Grandpa flat out forbade me from it, and honestly, I had zero interest. It just felt wrong. One early morning, everything seemed normal. I hopped on the ox and headed up the mountain trail. Man, that climb was tough, but he let me ride, which was a relief. That's when I noticed one of the cows straying off toward the woods. I hopped down, untied the rope from her horns, and tried steering her back. But nope, she kept pushing into the trees. The rest of the herd was fine. The ox and our dogs could handle them. So I followed her, figuring I'd get her turned around quick. She wandered right into that forbidden dark spot and just stopped. I didn't dare get off the ox. Last thing I wanted was her bolting and leaving me stranded. Then I heard this crunch, like footsteps on dry leaves. I whipped around, and there he was, an old man shuffling toward us. He looked frail as heck, with dirty clothes hanging off him and a long, scraggly beard. My heart dropped. I froze, hugging the ox tight. Oxen aren't like wild bulls. They don't buck or kick when spooked. They either charge with those horns and trample you flat or bolt like lightning. I braced for either. But our ox, he didn't even twitch. The old guy walked right up, patted the ox on the head, and whispered something I couldn't make out, like a low rumble in a language I'd never heard. Then he turned those eyes on me. And oh man, his eyes were pure white. No pupils, no color, just blank white staring right through me. Chills shot down my spine. He didn't say a word, just turned and melted into the trees like smoke. Gone in a blink. Suddenly, the cow grunted, like she just snapped out of a daze, the way they do every morning when the ox calls. She turned tail and headed back the way we'd come. I scrambled onto the ox, yelling, "Water." That's the command for heading to the river. It was closer than home, and there were houses nearby for safety. He took off like a shot, and I burst through the door of the first place I saw. The couple inside calmed me down, kept me there, and sent their daughter running for Grandpa. I couldn't sleep for days after that. Those white eyes haunted me. Every time I closed mine, there they were, staring. My grandparents kept me cooped up inside. No chores in the garden, no wandering near the trees. Not even alone in the house. Later on, I learned the truth from the village elders. That old man, it was Leshy, the forest spirit. He can look like a man, an owl, or even a wolf. He hates folks trespassing in his turf and will straight up kidnap you if you push your luck. Turns out, that cow I'd been herding, she got sick right after and died. They say Leshy sometimes hangs in the trees as an owl, watching for anyone who disrespects his woods. Even years later, when I'd visit my grandparents, they wouldn't let me out of their sight. Not outside, not even inside alone. I've never gone back into those woods, and I never will. Some things are better left buried in the shadows. I was 15 when this nightmare started. My parents both worked abroad, so I had our big house all to myself most nights. 5 bedrooms, just me rattling around like a ghost. A helper came by during the day to tidy up, but that was it. High school was kicking my butt, especially after the worst breakup of my life. This girl, the reason my heart was shattered, went to the same classes as me. Yeah, I know young love's a killer. Every day felt like wading through mud. I dragged myself home to that empty place, collapse on the couch, and sometimes cry myself to sleep. A couple weeks before finals, I was buried in books, but the pain wouldn't quit. One night, I passed out with tears on my cheeks again. I woke up in the dark, stumbled to the bathroom for a pee. My room had this huge glass window, about 6 by 10 feet, right next to my study desk against the wall. I shuffled past it, did my thing, and then bam, a massive explosion rocked the room behind me. It sounded just like one of those big local fireworks going off, sharp and booming. I yanked up my pants and bolted back in. Nothing. Zilch. The window was shut tight, no muffled boom from outside. My computer's power supply was unplugged. No smoke smell, so it wasn't some electrical short. I peeked outside, shook my head, and figured my stressed-out brain was playing tricks. Back to bed I went. But the second my back hit the comforter, it felt like a dozen needles stabbing me right between the shoulder blades. I leaped up, yanked the blanket off, and froze. A pile of ballpoint pens, no caps, right in the middle of my bed, like a little mountain of them. How? The house was locked down, high walls with spikes around the yard. No one could have snuck in while I was in the bathroom for 30 seconds. Shaking, I scooped them up and dumped them on my desk, which was right next to the bed. As I sat there staring, the air turned ice cold, and this heavy dread settled over me. Just the crying messing with me, I thought. Brushed it off, rolled over facing the wall, and tried to sleep. Then ding ding ding, that classic Windows XP startup tune blared from my speakers. You know the one. My PC was unplugged, but the speakers were still connected to the AVR. The room lit up blue from the monitor's login screen. And get this, a freezing spot bloomed on my feet, like icy fingers gripping my toes. The room was chilly, sure, but this was next level. I kept my eyes glued to the wardrobe across the room, not daring to look. In my peripheral vision, something flickered. I risked a tiny glance, and there it was. Tall, faint, ghostly white. Not all of it, just enough to know it was staring right at me, even without a face I could make out. I bolted. Screaming inside, but no sound coming out, I sprinted to my parents' room at the other end of the house. Crashed on their bed, heart hammering. It felt safe there. Rosaries everywhere, a big Jesus statue watching over. Then, out of nowhere, knock. Slow, faint, like knuckles on solid wood. Pause, knock, louder, pause, louder, until bang, the door flew open. Empty hallway, but I swear eyes on me. I flipped on every light, cranked the TV, and huddled in the corner till dawn. At 6 a.m., when the neighbor's clock chimed, I crept back, PC off and unplugged. Speakers on, pins on the desk. Bathroom. My toothbrush, dead center on the floor. Nope. Used mom and dad's shower instead. Told my friends at school. They laughed it off. Dude, you were up late grinding Counter-Strike 1.6 again. Hallucinating, gamer rage. Home by 5 p.m., I tried acting normal. Fell asleep and woke to that same icy stare. Checked the clock, 3 a.m. Every single night. But only in my room. Crashed in my parents' bed. Slept like a baby till 5:30. No chills, no creeps. I ditched my room for the rest of the school year. Summer hit, and I bolted to my sister's place 2 cities away. Spent most of it forgetting the breakup and that thing. Back home, first night in my room. 3 a.m. wake up, but now I couldn't breathe, like hands on my throat. Next day, neighborhood walk for answers. Spotted mom's friends on a porch. Spilled it all. Most went quiet, but 2 old ladies nodded. Kid, you been super mad, sad, or upset lately? Yeah, heartbreak. That's it. Something latched onto your bad vibes, like a storm cloud. Followed you home. Your room soaked it up, made it a nest. Freaked me out. I wasn't big on ghost stories. But it fit. Raced to a computer cafe, Googled house cleansing. Settled on holy water and prayers. I'm Catholic, but not church every Sunday. Saturday, I hit the local parish with an empty bottle, scooped from the holy water font. Priest stops me, chuckles at the irregular like me grabbing some. Told him the whole saga. His face went stone cold. Don't do it alone. We don't know what you're messing with. I ignored him, fired up, ready to fight. Home, room, bottle open. Splash. Aimed at the window first. Nightmare mode, instant deep freeze, like liquid nitrogen. Something loomed behind me. Then a gurgle scream, high and low at once, like demons gargling gravel. Every hair on my body felt like frozen guitar strings, yanked hard. Skin ripping agony. Door slammed shut. I clawed out, grabbed keys and cash, bust twice to sisters. Showed up sobbing, skin red and rashy. She thought drugs called Mom. They let me stay till summer's end. Regrouped there, but sleep was trash. Finally home with the helper. House door opens fine, but my room? Stuck shut. We pried, swung wide. Chaos, walls crusted in mossy lichen. Mushrooms sprouting on bedposts and dresser. Sheets soaked damp. One step in Arctic blast. Helper whispered, "It's watching us." Crack in the window, right where I splashed. Backed out, locked it, called Mom. Renovated now. Use our room forever. Crew came, felt the cold, the stairs. 2 guys hurt bad on the new floor. A few saw someone lurking at night. Never slept there again. Locked for years. College, moved out. Flew home months ago. 10 years sealed. Unlocked. Empty. Huge Jesus painting blocking the door. Rosaries dangling. Felt nothing. But the memories. Every day that terror claws back. Locked it tight. Parents say no one touches it ever. Not even the help. Sealed forever. My name's Kaylee, and I'm a total science nerd. No religion for me. But I'll admit there are some weird things out there that even experts can't explain. Let me tell you about 3 freaky experiences that still give me chills. It all started when I was a toddler, around 3 years old. My cousin, let's call him Oz, and I were super tight. His mom, my aunt, babysat us both while my mom worked, and we were only a couple years apart. We played non-stop, and some of my earliest memories are of us goofing around together. Then, right before my 4th birthday, Oz went missing. It was a huge deal in the UK. Everyone from neighbors to cops was searching for this 7-year-old kid. A couple weeks later, after my birthday, they found him gone for good. I was only 4, so death didn't really click for me. When Mom tried explaining he wasn't coming back, I just bawled my eyes out. Fun fact, Mom was pregnant with my little brother at the time. To make room for him, she moved me out of my own room into one with my 2 younger sisters. That's when the visits kicked off. Every single night, Oz would show up at the foot of my bed. He looked pale and silvery, kind of like those ghosts in the Harry Potter movies, except this was years before the first movie even came out, so no way my tiny brain cooked that up. We'd chat away. One night, I sensed Mom creeping up the stairs. She was trying to be sneaky so I wouldn't get busted for being awake. I squeezed my eyes shut, pretending to snooze. She cracked the door. "Kaylee." I popped my eyes open. "What? Who were you talking to?" I shrugged. "Us." "He's right here, sitting on the bed. But now I can't see him great, 'cause the hall light's messing it up." Mom blinked, said okay, and shut the door. Next day, she asked again, figuring I was half dreaming. Nope, I laid it all out. She bought it, and the visits kept going for years. When I was about 6, my aunt somehow found out. She lost it, called me a liar, said if Oz was going to visit anyone, it'd be his own mom. That night, he showed up sad. I didn't mean to upset her. Visits gotta be less now, just birthdays and Christmas. Last time I saw him, I was 9, in this nightmare where skeletons and zombies were clawing out of graves, chasing me through a cemetery. I could see the gates thinking, if I make it there, I'm safe, they can't cross. But no matter how hard I ran, they stayed close. I was about to give up when Oz appeared, zapped me to the safe side, and said, "I'll always protect you. Don't forget." Woke up gasping. Never saw him again, but thinking about it now, it's kind of comforting, like his final goodbye. A few months later, Mom went to a psychic with friends, just for kicks, not serious. The lady nailed all these personal details Mom never shared, then said one of her kids had the gift, but couldn't say who. Mom figured it was me. I get deja vu a ton in dream stuff that later happens for real. Oh, and get this, the psychic said Oz was my guardian angel. That hits different. I thought about leveling up this gift if it's real. Tarot cards and crystals are in my drawer from past experiments. If anyone's got tips on tapping into it, hit me up. But enough on that. Next weird one. When I was 6, I had these invisible friends. Invisible to everyone else, anyway. Their names? Sophie, Hannah, Jessica, Megan, and either Amelia or Amanda, can't recall which. I remember playing Ring Around the Rosie with them in the backyard, holding hands, skipping in a circle. Mom swears she has no memory of me mentioning them, but in my head, I talked about them non-stop, and she watched from the kitchen window that day. They hung around for a few months, maybe a year, then poof, gone. Fast forward to high school. I make these new besties who stick through college and beyond. Some I still text today. Their names? Sophie, Hannah, Jessica, Megan, and both Ann and Amelia. Coincidence? Maybe. They're common names, right? But hold up. At my elementary school, the only Sophie and Hannah I knew were total bullies. Made my life hell. No way I'd pick those for imaginary pals. Never heard of Jessica before. Amelia and Amanda? Brand new to me. And Megan's my sister's name, wouldn't go there. So, how my kid brain nail my future friend squad? It still weirds me out. Last one happened less than a year ago, but not to me, my mom. She's a caregiver for old folks, and they threw a garden party at her work for the royal wedding. Everyone's outside snapping pics. One coworker grabs a group shot. They check it later, and bam. In the window behind them, a clear shape of someone waving right at the camera. No one was inside, the whole crew was out back. Windows open wide, so no reflection trick. Creepiest part. Mom swears the face matches this old guy she cared for. He passed in that building just a week before. Straight up ghost photobomb. Science says coincidence or tricks of the light. But after Oz and the name thing, I'm not so sure. What do you think, guardian angel, time glitch, or just my brain on overdrive? You might know about those crazy military dictatorships in South America back in the 70s and 80s. Chile, Argentina, Brazil all had them. Uruguay's ran from 73 to 85, and it was brutal. One spot that saw the worst of it. Punta Carretas, this massive old prison built in 1915. During the dictatorship, they crammed it full of political prisoners, guerrilla fighters, and folks fighting the regime. It's no joke, torture rooms, disappearances where they'd kill people and hide the bodies, some still missing today. In 1971, over 100 inmates busted out, including this guy Pepe Mujica, who later became president in 2010 when democracy came back. The place shut down as a prison in '85, got a total makeover, and reopened in 1994 as a shiny shopping mall. But if you believe in ghosts or bad vibes, you gotta figure all that pain, fear, and anger soaked into the walls. The torture hellhole turned into a place full of stressed shoppers and sales. That's a recipe for spooky stuff. I worked there as a security guard for a year and a half, and yeah, it's haunted as hell. Here's what went down. Story 1, the creepy bathroom. There's this 2.5 bathroom set up on a mezzanine between the second and third floors, kind of like a half-level balcony. To get there, you walk down this narrow hall that straight up looks like an old jail corridor. The walls pinch and weird at the entrance, like there used to be a massive heavy door. Makes sense. Folks say it was a torture chamber back in the day. A buddy of mine who cleaned the mall told me they never scrubbed that bathroom at night when the place was closed. Too many slippery accidents. Plus the air felt thick and heavy, like you could cut it with a knife. One time, some dude tried slashing his own throat in front of the mirror. No thanks. Story 2. The mystery fires. That malls burned 5 times in the last 18 years. 2000, 2010, 2013, 2016, and 2018. Every single one started right near that bathroom. And get this, no official explanations. Arson? Wiring? Who knows? But it's always that spot, like the angry energies trying to burn the whole place down. Story 3. The Ghost Cat. I was on parking lot duty one night in the second basement level, huge underground garage. They gave me a bike to patrol the rows, check for sketchy cars or fights. Super chill gig. But then I spotted this cat slinking around. Something was off about it. Its walk was too smooth. It stared too intense, like it knew my secrets. I felt this pull, like follow it. It was close, so I pedaled up and poof, gone. Air turned freezing, and this wave of sadness hit me out of nowhere. No reason. A few days later, same cat. This time, I got it on the bike. Gotcha now. It darted under a parked car. I saw it clear as day. Checked underneath. Nothing. Chills again, that deep ache in my chest. I even asked a couple shoppers nearby, "Hey, you see where that cat went?" They stared at me like I was nuts, didn't say a word. After that, I started wondering about ghost animals. Maybe Nubia, some cat that got run over down their way back. Her spirit's still prowling. I'll never know, but it felt real. Story for the prayer on the radio. Another shift, this time in the outdoor parking lot. Weekend, nothing major until static crackled over my walkie-talkie. Then clear as day, in Spanish, part of the Our Father prayer. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Eerie voice, all rumbly and echoey, like it was coming from a cave or an empty church. I freaked. Who said that? What the hell? My boss came back quick. Don't talk about it. Forget it happened. Look, us guards weren't some SWAT team. We were mostly college kids like me, juggling jobs and classes, plus a few retired cops scraping by. We'd mess around on the radio sometimes, dumb jokes. But nothing like this. That voice, it wasn't one of us. I don't work there anymore, graduated and got a real job. But every time I hit the mall for a late-night movie, those stories creep back. The hairs on my neck stand up, and I swear I feel eyes on me. If you've got a spot like that near you, steer clear after dark. Some walls remember too much. My dad passed away when I was just 6, and he'd been sick for 2 whole years before that. So honestly, I don't have a ton of memories with him, just these fuzzy snapshots my mom would paint with her stories. He was this wild adventurer type, always chasing the next big thrill. As the baby of 4 girls, I was the only one who didn't really know him well. But growing up, I'd bug my sisters for details, and that's how I heard about his weirdest story. She told me when I was around 15, during one of those late-night ever had a ghost encounter chats. She laughed it off, but repeated it a couple times over the years. Picture this, early 1960s, they're in this creaky old house out in the sticks, super isolated. There'd been a prison break nearby, so Mom was on edge, jumping at shadows. One night, Dad bolts upright in bed, wide awake, staring dead ahead at the foot of the mattress. He whispers, "Ethel," which spooks her half to death. She's like, "What? What's wrong?" His eyes are huge, locked on something. "Did you see them?" he says, voice all shaky. "See what?" she asks, heart pounding. He leans in, still not breaking that stare. 3 little green men, right there at the end of the bed, just staring at me. She snorts, thinks he's dreaming or messing with her. But no, he swears they were tiny, glowing green dudes. Eyes like saucers, not moving a muscle. Lasted maybe 2 minutes, then poof, gone. He wasn't a sleepwalker or big on night terrors, so she chalked it up to the stress from the escapees outside. Funny dad story for us, right? We always cracked up about the 3 little green men. Fast forward a bunch of years. My son's 11 now, and he's fighting this brutal bout of bronchial asthma, wheezing, fever spiking, the works. We've been in and out of the hospital with breathing treatments. A couple months after that rough night, we're just chatting casual-like. He goes, "Yeah, Mom, I thought I was going to die that time." I hug him tight. "Ah, sweetie, it wasn't that bad. You pulled through fine." He gets this serious look. "Nah, it was mostly when I saw those 3 little green men. They were right by the bed, staring at me. One was even playing little drums." My jaw hits the floor. He had no clue about Grandpa's tale. We never told him. I grab the phone, call my mom. She's floored too, gasping like she'd seen a ghost. Same exact vision. 3 green guys, unblinking, chilling by the bed. One drumming. That's a new twist. But the rest? Spot on. My boy's in his 30s now, healthy as ever, and nothing like that's popped up since. But he's got kids of his own, and let me tell you, I'm all ears every time they stay over. If those little green visitors come back for round 3, we'll be ready. Or at least, we'll have one heck of a family legend. What do you make of it? Aliens checking in, or some kind of genetic mind melt? Either way, it still gives me goosebumps. Okay, so to set the stage for this wild night, I gotta say up front, I'm the skeptical type when it comes to spooky stuff. Sure, I jump at shadows and get the creeps easy, but 99% of the time, I can talk myself out of it. Blame it on a bad dream or too much coffee. Otherworldly? Nah, usually just my brain messing with me. But this one, no clue. Still stumped me. It was a late night, like any other. My husband and I hit the sack around 10 or 11 p.m. We'd had a little spat earlier, nothing major. We hashed it out and crashed peacefully, spooning like usual. A few hours in, I wake up to this familiar feeling. Cat claws kneading my scalp. No biggie. We've got 2 furballs, a chunky older gray one with a white triangle on his face, let's call him B for big boy, and an 8-month-old tabby, bright white and orange, skinny as a rail, L for little. B loves stealing my pillow spot, so I figured it was him. I shoved him off gently and tried rolling back to sleep. A couple minutes later, same deal, claws digging in. Shoot him again, eyes half closed. Then I hear rustling on the extra pillows behind my head, like a cat tussle. I assume L's being a punk, batting at B after sneaking some catnip. For the record, I'm on the right side of the bed, head on the pillow, and there's this solid weight sinking into the upper left. Feels exactly like B's hefty self. So I twist around to break up the fight, expecting L way back by the headboard, teasing his grumpy big bro up close. Wrong. I look back, and there's B, chilling way over by the headboard, staring right at something. I glance down next to my face, because L's too light to dent the pillows like that, and holy crap. Another gray cat, same size as B, same markings, parked inches from my nose, staring straight at the real B. We've got no third cat. No way once snuck in second floor. Doors locked tight, windows sealed against the winter chill. Here's the trippy part. It didn't freak me out, like at all. Didn't even ping my radar that this was a total stranger, a dead ringer for B, a doppelganger cat breathing down my neck. B didn't bat an eye either. He just watched it calmly, like sup clone. They looked identical, so maybe my sleepy brain figured it was him. Both seemed chill, no hissing or swiping. I just shrugged internally, rolled over, and dozed off again. Felt like only a minute passed. Then shift. Weight lifts off the pillow above me. I crack an eye just in time to see two cats leaping off the bed, one chasing the other in that playful blur. For some dumb reason, I reach out to pet the tail ender. Like a magnet pulled my hand, stupid move. The second my fingers brushed it, game over. A gut punch of pure, ice-cold terror slammed me. Not scared, raw, animal dread, like every instinct screaming run on loop. Worse than any nightmare. And then, bam, a flash in my head. I didn't want to include this because it sounds bonkers, and I've always been solid mentally and physically. No history of crazy. But here goes. It was like a quick vision of some ancient seal or rune, maybe a coat of arms. Smack in the middle, this creepy lioness beast with wild eyes and fangs, all twisted and mythical. Lasted half a second, burn into my brain. Hoping someone else has seen it. Maybe it's a thing. The touch broke the spell. Cat vanished, poof, right in midair, gone like smoke. I bolted upright, room spinning. Want to call it a dream or sleep paralysis? Tried. But I was wide awake, hubby snoring beside me, cats at the foot of the bed looking confused. I could have gotten up easy. No paralysis freeze. Nothing adds up. If anyone's got theories, familiar spirit, astral projection gone wrong, or just my subconscious on a bender, spill. I need to know what the hell that was. Still side-eyes my cats every night. I've been chasing answers to these weird events my whole life, but good luck finding real ones online. It's all just folks like me spilling their guts. Here's the full rundown from kid stuff to now. Buckle up. It's a wild ride. Way back, too young to remember clear. My mom says I only slept in pitch black with the door shut tight. But I'd chat away to someone in the dark. My first memory? Telling her I can't talk to the angels anymore. It hit me like a silent download. No words, just knowing. Felt wrong, like I'd crossed a line. Ever since, darkness terrifies me. Can't handle it. Stopped sleeping in my room altogether. Crashed on the living room couch instead. Mom even joined me out there some nights. This was around 2005 in our old house. We moved in '07. But 2008, that's when it got real scary. I was alone in the living room, still ditching my bedroom. Mom snoozing in hers. Something jolted me awake at 3:30 a.m. No grogginess. I'm a total night owl, so weird. Couch faced the hallway. My head hung off the armrest like a pillow. Hall light was off, I always left it on. But the bathroom glowed through its closed door. Probably my brother messing with switches. I started drifting off again. Then poke. Fingers jabbing the back of my head, back and forth, like someone testing if I'm awake. Ignored at first, half asleep vibes. Poke again. Real as heck. Heart racing, I sank into the cushions and peeked over slow. There, in the bathroom light's glow, a middle-aged guy, staring daggers at me. Bitter face, kind of familiar, but not. Froze me solid. He stepped toward me, slow, creepy. I burrowed under the blanket like a kid, too scared to yell. Figured it'd make him charge. Felt off, not like a burglar, more unnatural. He reached the couch end, then snapped his head left, into the kitchen behind me. Curious despite the terror, I risked a glance. There, a youngish woman in white, glaring at him like, back off. She charged through the living room, stomping like a bull, shoved him hard down the hall, right into the bathroom. Slam. Hall light flicked on. Air lightened, normal house sounds kicked back and hadn't noticed they'd stopped. Whole vibe shifted from nightmare to few. Told Mom later, she swore I dreamed it. But I was awake, blanket and all. Brushed off other weird glimpses my whole life is imagination. This? First physical one. Fast forward to 2011, new house. First few months, doors locked themselves, random, especially when no one was home. One time, parents chill on the porch, left the glass door cracked to test the rusty lock. It slammed shut, lock mount. Happened for 6 months, then quit. Around then, home alone, I hit the master bathroom. Fancy one, loved it. But that room always gave me the heebie-jeebies. Big empty closet next to it didn't help. Fluorescent buzz, flickering light, empty space screaming, haunted. Walked in from the bedroom and froze. Young guy, maybe 19, tall like 6 foot, standing by the foggy window near the closet. Bloodshot eyes locked on mine. Noped out, didn't pee for 3 months unless someone tagged along. Told Mom, she gasped. I saw him too. Same dude, same spot. Skeptical dad. Felt the vibes too. Kept the bathroom door shut at night, said it felt like staring ice. Over years, we renovated. He got chiller. We'd spot him hanging around, just watching. Sis woke up to him across her room, poof, through the wall when she blinked. Never told bro, he's Mr. Skeptic, agnostic eye roller. But 1:10 p.m. night, he yells bloody murder. We rush in, he's white as a sheet. Woke up to some guy by my bed, staring, yelled, and dude back through the wall. I got him good. Dad rarely pipes up, but he's heard weird noises from that bathroom closet, right by his bed. Mom backs him, same sounds. Thinks the guy's troubled. Not mean, mostly friendly now. Funniest bit? Late night on my computer, room dark. For no reason, I start flailing my arms like those wavy tube men at car lots. Just don't care mode from that old song. Stop laughing, screen goes black. Reflection shows someone behind me, mimicking the flails, wacky arms and all. Spin around, empty. Creepy, but I cracked up. Quirky ghost bro. Problem is, he's not solo. We all agree. Dark figure lurks in the shadows. Mom and I get these choking fits, episodes for a week or two, then nada for months. Never same night. It's when we sleep deep, night or late evening. For me, pair with messed up dreams. Starts normal, then warps. Confusion creeps in, can't think straight. Shadow guy's there. Look at him, and he lunges. Takes over my body. Limbs flop, shaking like crazy. Brain floods with gibberish horrors, twisted thoughts. Neck wrenches, breath cuts off, vision fades. Wake gasping, choking, terror maxed. Feels like something slithers off me. Rarely see it, just a dark blur. Mom's got the same, won't spill dream details. That's why I crash at 8 a.m. now. Daytime sleep. No attacks. Nights off limits. These chained together. Angels to pokes to locks to watcher to choker. House full of them or my head. Answers be nice, but mostly I just want to sleep without the shadows. You got theories? Spill. I used to work at one of the oldest universities in Germany. Built in the early 1900s, this big 4-story brick beast sitting on a hill. Most of it's above ground, but there's this massive basement level with tiny windows that barely let in any light. Still, it's got easy exits and stairs connecting everything upstairs. Problem is, once the sun's down, some spots down there. No, I steer clear. I'm an archaeology major, and we house this huge collection of plaster copies of famous Roman and Greek statues. Think marble gods and heroes frozen in time. In the dark? Super eerie. You feel eyes on you from all those blank stares. I avoid those rooms like the plague after sunset. Last summer, I pulled a late shift in my basement office, Saturday night into evening. Around 8 p.m., this wave of loneliness hit hard. Building felt empty, so I ditched my desk to hunt for company, maybe chat and take a break. Headed up my usual stairs. Nothing. No one. Not weird for a weekend that late, so I poked around the library a bit, then looped back to work. Stepped into the library, and bam, thunder growls outside. Lightning flashes the room bright. Then pitch black. Storm rolling in fast, turning day to night in minutes. Old building, so I shrugged it off. I've seen worse in horror flicks. I'm a total wimp, get spooked easy. Headed down, but for some dumb reason, I took a shortcut through one of the plaster cast rooms. Don't ask why, not my normal path. Downstairs, the storm's raging. Thunder cracks every few seconds. But then another noise joins in. Metallic. Sharp, like someone scraping a knife against a metal wall. Slow, deliberate. Rain's pounding, old pipes creak sometimes, so I blew it off at first. Kept walking to my office. But the scrape? It's getting louder, closer, like it's tracking me around the corner. That watch feeling cranked to 11. Couldn't shake it. Grabbed my stuff, bolted for the exit right by my door. Thought, I'm gonna die down here. Pure gut fear, like nothing I've felt. Not my usual movie scared. This was primal. Get out now. Outside, the vibe got weirder. Rain soaking me, but I glance back. The elevator window lights up. Empty. Building's locked tight. Only a handful of us have keys. I'd have heard someone come in. Why the elevator anyway? It's for hauling heavy casts, not people. Everyone uses the stairs. Checked. No one's around. Then it sank in, not just alone in the building. Alone. Like the whole world holding its breath. No cars on the street, no distant voices, no nothing but thunder and rain smacking the pavement. Felt like I was the last soul on Earth, frozen in some apocalypse bubble. The watch chill hung on, but the panic dialed down a notch. Knew my friends were coming to grab me soon for hangouts. Stood there staring at that elevator light, couldn't look away. Felt like minutes, but when they pulled up, clock said an hour gone. Jumped in their car, bam. Normal hits. Traffic hums, chatter everywhere. Rain just annoying now. They looked at me like I'd seen a demon. You good, dude. Next day, dragged a coworker back to recreate the noise. Tried everything. Keys on pipes, coins on walls, whatever metal on metal. Nada. Ours sounded tinny fake. That scrape. Deeper, more alive. Asked everyone with elevator keys. Either last night, crickets. No one. Their teachers, colleagues. No reason to fib. This place has history. World War II scars. Generations of stressed out students cracking under exams. To this day, it doesn't add up. I'm no ghost hunter, but that fear? Not my imagination playing tricks. I freaked over less, and this was different, wrong on a soul level. Psychological glitch from the storm? Lingering bad energy? If you've got ideas, spooky or shrink style, let them on me. Need to make sense of it, cause replaying that empty world still ices my veins. It was late 2014, and my sister was driving our mom's old 2005 Chevy Malibu down this pitch-black back road at night. She just picked up her little Shih Tzu Delilah and had her crated up front in the passenger seat. It was around 11 p.m. on a Thursday, no school the next day, so no rush. Back home, I was up late watching some dumb show on Nick at Night. My other sister was crashed in her room, and our brothers were out. Mom pops out of her bedroom, grabs her keys. I'm gonna tail your sister home. Make sure she gets there, okay? Wanna come? I waved her off. Nah, I'm good. She heads out, and I hear the car peel away. About 40 minutes later, the house phone rings. It's Mom. I pick up, and she's full on sobbing, words tumbling out. Get home quick. Your sister's car flipped. I don't remember the exact details she spit out, but it was bad. She was flying down that dark road, eyes peeled for any sign of the wreck. Cold November night, no streetlights, just her headlights cutting the fog. My sister had called her from the ditch, all panicky, but didn't even know where she was. Mom's pushing the gas hard when blue and red lights flash in her rear view. Cop pulls her over. She spills everything. Daughter crashed, gotta find her. Turns out she'd already called the cops to sweep the roads, and this was one of them. He gets it, waves her on. She pulls to the shoulder, collapses over the wheel, crying her eyes out. That's when a white Pontiac Firebird rolls up next to her. Windows down, and there's this guy behind the wheel, long, neat brown hair, a bit of scruff on his chin, and these piercing blue eyes. You okay? Need a hand. Something about those eyes hits her, total calm washes over, like she's known him forever. Hasn't even mentioned the crash yet, but he offers to help search. She doesn't hesitate, hops right in his car. He takes her hand, squeezes gentle. Everything's gonna be fine. She's okay. Don't worry. His voice, like warm honey, soothing every freak out. They cruised those empty roads, and yeah, his eyes straight up glowed in the dark, like little blue lanterns. Felt safe, you know. Like nothing bad could touch her. They spot the wreck. Malibu totaled, flipped on its side. Mom jumps out, sprints over. Sister's banged up, but hugging Delilah tight. Cops roll in right after. Ambulance hauls them to the hospital. Mom's flooding tears of relief, turns to thank the guy, and he's gone. Her own SUV's parked right where he dropped her off. No Firebird. Nothing. Weeks later, she asks my sister, "You see a white Firebird pull up? Guy helped me find you." Sis shakes her head. "Nah, Mom, you're the only one who showed." Got out and ran straight to me. Mom's convinced that was Jesus, her guardian angel that night, guiding her through the dark. Our family's super religious on her side, so it fits. Gives me chills thinking about it. But here's the what if that keeps me up. What if I'd said yes and gone along? Would things have played out different? Guess we'll never know. Sis ended up with a ton of stitches, big gash on her right elbow, but nothing life-threatening. Delilah? Physically fine, but she got this doggy PTSD after. Whimpered every night, like reliving it. A year later, she caught parvo, nasty stuff, eats him from the inside. Found her in the laundry room one day, just laying there. Broke my heart. She was the best, always bouncing at the door when I got home from school. Hope heaven's got wide open fields for her, chasing her tail through those pearly gates. Stories like this, they stick with you. Makes you wonder who's really watching out when things go sideways. Do you know that when riding the train in Japan, you often encounter delays due to accidents involving people on the tracks? In reality, incidents like that happen very frequently, and the Japanese people are so accustomed to them that they consider it normal. But do you know which area has the highest frequency of railway accidents? Ranked by station, the top 3 are all in Tokyo, and 2 of them are in the capital. One of them is New Koiwa Station. For most Japanese people, just hearing the name New Koiwa immediately brings to mind a lot of suicides. For us locals, it's just an ordinary station in our daily lives. But for outsiders, New Koiwa Station might be seen as a creepy, haunted spot, a dangerous station. If you search online about New Koiwa Station, you'll find tons of stories about suicides and ghosts appearing. However, most of them are fabricated and exaggerated. That makes me a bit annoyed. I think other local residents probably feel the same way. But about New Koiwa Station, I actually had a terrifying experience there. It was a few years ago. The story goes like this. One day, as usual, I was heading to work. My workplace is near New Koiwa Station. That day, I worked overtime late, finished up, and walked to the station. When I arrived, I needed to use the restroom, so I went into the public bathroom at New Koiwa Station. It was around 10 p.m. by then. I was the only one in the bathroom. After finishing, as I was about to wash my hands, I suddenly noticed in the mirror's reflection, at the far end inside, a shadow flit by. Right after that, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of what seemed like a person's silhouette next to me. But at that moment, there was no one in the bathroom except me. I thought to myself, what was that? Am I hallucinating from my strain? Probably just tired from the overtime. Though I felt a bit eerie, with goosebumps rising, I didn't pay it much mind. I washed my hands and prepared to leave the bathroom. At that point, my eyes glanced at the corner of the mirror, and it seemed like something appeared. I got a little tense, pretended like nothing was wrong, and then sneakily checked it out with the corner of my eye. I saw it was a shadow like a human face, with eyes constantly darting around, looking for something. My heart pounded. I had a really bad feeling. But I really wanted to know what it was, so I immediately turned my head. When I turned to look closely, there was nothing. At that moment, my back went ice cold. Even though I didn't know what it was, I was truly terrified. So with that fear, I hurriedly left the bathroom. As I stepped out, I felt like there was a gaze fixed on me from behind the bathroom. Terrified, I quickly ran into the station and out onto the platform. But when I got to the platform, something strange happened again. Out of the corner of my eye, I kept seeing a figure appear next to me, standing right beside me. It was a pitch black shadow. That shadow was like a black cloth, floating lazily, twisting and writhing. It suddenly appeared to my left, then vanished immediately, only to reappear on my right the next second. I turned my head to look clearly, but see nothing. It kept repeating like that, alternating left and right. I was so tense that I kept whipping my head around to look. Some people waiting for the train nearby stared at me because of my odd behavior. Though I felt embarrassed in that moment, I was too stressed to care. To those passers-by, I wasn't polite at all. I shot them a sharp glare right back. Looking back now, the moment they met my eyes, they immediately looked away, not daring to stare at me. It was kind of amusing. Not long after, the train arrived. Once I boarded, the black shadow didn't appear anymore. I made it home safely. The days that followed were normal, nothing unusual. But the very next day after the incident, a woman jumped in front of the train and committed suicide at the station. Moreover, I was right there at the scene. At first, I didn't realize how it connected to my horrifying experience. But after the accident, while at the scene, I spotted, in the far corner of the platform, a black shadow lingering there. Its face. It was the same face I'd seen in the bathroom the day before. It was staring intently from afar at the site of the accident. Then I blinked, and it vanished. I felt utterly horrified. Suddenly, it hit me. The face and eyes that appeared in the bathroom mirror that night maybe was searching for people with suicidal tendencies. Once it finds a target, it follows them, influences them to make the decision. From what I know, most people who commit suicide by jumping in front of trains use the bathroom beforehand. Remembering how that black shadow kept appearing beside me that day, I felt disgusted and terrified. Perhaps, by now, it's back in the New Koiwa Station bathroom, lurking in a mirror, spying on the human world, and waiting for its next prey to lure in.